Hello students, today we are going to learn about the human respiratory system. The respiratory system is the organ system responsible to allow oxygen present in the air to reach cells in our body. The respiratory system therefore helps us to breathe in air and breathe out air. Dear students, let us start with a simple breathing activity. Place your hands on your chest and breathe in deeply. Which parts of your body are involved in breathing? You are right, the nose and the mouth. What happens to the size of your chest? You can feel that it increases in size. Did you feel your chest getting slightly bigger? Yes, it gets bigger. Now let us breathe out the air and feel your chest. What happens to the size of your chest? Yes, you are right. It returns to its regular size. Is the air cold or warm? You can feel that the air is warm. So, breathing is the process by which living organisms take in and give out air. It is our respiratory system that helps us to breathe. Dear students, why do you think breathing is important? We need to breathe in air to get oxygen and breathe air out to get rid of carbon dioxide. So, tell me, do you have any idea why we need oxygen? Yes, you're right. When we breathe in air, it has a high amount of oxygen. The cells of the body use that oxygen to break down food to release energy. Without energy, living things may die within a few minutes. So, breathing is a very important process by which living organisms take in and give out air. The respiratory system is an important organ system that helps us to breathe in and breathe out air. The respiratory system actually helps our body to take in oxygen from the air, which is later absorbed into our blood. Our blood then transports the oxygen to all cells of our body. In the same way, the respiratory system helps to remove carbon dioxide from our body. When we breathe air out, our body gets rid of carbon dioxide. Let us now study the major parts of the respiratory system. So, the human respiratory system consists of three major parts: the airways, that is the passage through which air passes; the two lungs, that is the organs where gas exchange occurs; and the muscles, which include rib muscles and diaphragm, that are involved in breathing in and breathing out air. Let us now study each part of the respiratory system. As mentioned earlier, the airway of the respiratory system is the passage by which air reaches our lungs. It also carries air between the lungs and the body's exterior. As you can see in the diagram, the airways include the nose, mouth, pharynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, and alveoli. Air enters through our nose, that is, it passes through the two nostrils. The nose has hairs to filter out dust particles from the air we breathe in. In the nasal cavity, the air is also warmed and moistened. Note that we can also breathe through the mouth. So, the air from the nose or mouth then passes down the pharynx and trachea to the bronchi, that is, the right bronchus and the left bronchus, and then to the bronchioles and finally reach the alveoli of each lung. Let us now study the second major part of the respiratory system, the lungs. Our body has two lungs, the right lung and the left lung. They are pink and spongy organs protected by the ribs. The lung is the place where gas exchange occurs. If we look at the diagram closely, we will see that the trachea is a strong tube supported by rings of tissue called cartilage. The trachea divides into the right bronchus and the left bronchus. Each bronchus leads into a lung and divides into small tubes known as bronchioles. These bronchioles lead to air sacs or grape-like structures known as alveoli. In the singular form, we call it alveolus. Each alveolus is actually the place where oxygen enters and carbon dioxide leaves the blood. The third major part of the respiratory system includes muscles such as rib or intercostal muscles and diaphragm. These muscles are involved in the movement of air in and out of the lungs. Dear students, now let us do activity 2. You're required to answer 4 questions. In the first question, the diagram shows part of the human respiratory system. You are required to name the parts A, B, C, and D. You are right. A is the nose, B is the trachea, C is the lung, and D is the diaphragm. Question 2. Air passes through different parts of the body when we inhale. Which one of the following indicates the pathway taken by air when we inhale? The answer is D. Air passes through the nostrils to the trachea, to the bronchus, to the bronchioles, and finally to the alveoli. I hope that you have all obtained this answer. Question 3. What are the major parts of the respiratory system? The answer is the human respiratory system consists of 3 major parts: the airways, the 2 lungs, and the muscles including rib muscles and diaphragm. Now, let us move to the 4th question. Give 2 functions of the respiratory system. The answer is the 2 major functions of the respiratory system are: firstly, it allows us to obtain oxygen from the air. Secondly, it removes carbon dioxide produced in our body. I hope that you have answered them correctly. Now, let's summarize. In this lesson, you have learned that the respiratory system comprises 3 major parts: the airways, the lungs, and the muscles including rib muscles, and diaphragm. The respiratory system is responsible for supplying blood with oxygen and removing carbon dioxide from blood. Air enters the nasal cavity through the nostrils and passes through the trachea, the bronchi, and smaller tubes to reach the alveoli in the lungs. I hope that you have enjoyed the lesson. In our next session, you are going to learn more about the respiratory system. Thank you for your attention.